today's server slam build, we're going to go over a poison shred werewolf build that will help you reach level 20, kill Ashava, and get all the achievements you want for this upcoming build. The main abilities we will use in this build are shred, rabies, vine creeper, and then you have your choice of cyclone armor or earthen barrier. Stay tuned. Disclaimer: this build will not be the best build when the game launches in June. You can run this build on the server slam because of the guaranteed aspects that you can get from dungeons. Now for the big part of the build, the 4 aspects that we will use that are guaranteed that we get due to dungeons that we will add on to this build. First is Night Howler's aspect. Bloodhowl increases critical strike chance by 5%, but also affects companions and players in our party for 3 seconds. So again, this is huge for healing us and our party, and also giving us critical strike chance, which is huge on the world boss. Next, we have Stormclaw's aspect. Critical strike chances with Shred deal 20% of the damage dealt as lightning damage to the target and surrounding enemies. Again, a great skill when we're dealing with multiple enemies, but also too on single target enemies, because now we're dealing 20% extra damage as lightning damage. I would recommend getting this on our 2-handed weapon to increase it to increase the effect. Next, a looting aspect up here in the northwest. Becoming injured while crowd controlled grants you unstoppable for 4 seconds. Obviously, this is huge when we're crowd controlled, right? Obviously, if we're crowd controlled and take damage, we will die normally. With this, now we have a chance to pop cyclone armor, to pop earthen barrier, to evade, to dodge, to get out of there, and potion. So again, this is just kind of like an oh crap aspect that everyone should use and everyone can use. And the last one, aspect of the unsatiated. I messed that up so many times. After killing an enemy with Shred, your next werewolf skill generates 20% more spirit and deals 20% increased damage. Again, Shred is our main damaging spell in this build. So after we kill somebody with it, which we will a lot, especially lower ranked enemies or weaker enemies, now our basic abilities give us more spirit and increased damage. You can also plug this in if you have enough spirit to do a shred followed up by another shred or a rabies. So again, just a great aspect to have overall. Okay, to make this build, we're going to start off with Claw, shapeshifts into werewolf, and Claw an enemy. Obviously, that will be our main ability. We then get points into Enhanced Claw and Fierce Claw, because you'll see on all of our abilities, we'll have the ability to poison people. So again, that's going with the theme of the build. After that, we're going to get Shred, which is a no-brainer. Obviously, that's the main ability of our build. And then we're going to get Enhanced Shred. And then you can really diverge off. Obviously, you can get Primal Shred for critical strike chance, which is big and is really a big part in the build on official launch. You can increase your critical strike chance with to deal lightning damage and then more. However, we're just going to go with Raging Shred for that poison ability. Again, we're going to keep 100% uptick in poison on an enemy, so that's kind of the goal. Then I just get 3 out of 3 on Predatory Instinct. I think almost every build, any shapeshifter build will grab this because again, it's a 9% critical strike chance, which is huge. Then as you move on to the protection skills or the defensive skills, we're obviously getting Bloodhowl because we have the aspect that gives us 5% critical strike chance and it affects our party. So now with the enhanced Bloodhowl, which reduces the cooldown, the cooldown is 15 seconds. If we can get some kills, we can make it around 10. So every 10 to 15 seconds, we will be healing not only ourselves and our party for 20% and increasing everybody's critical strike chance by 5%, which is huge. Going on to our companion skills, I did not grab wolves on this build. We went with Vine Creeper. On Vine Creeper, obviously I think it's the Druid's best ability. A Vine Creeper will emerge from the ground every 7 seconds and apply poisoning, and then when you activate it, it immobilizes them and stuns them and poisons. So again, this is huge. We then get Enhanced Vine Creeper for a longer duration, and then Brutal Vine Creeper for critical strike chance. So again, we're going to poison enemies, and then once we have them constricted with Vine Creeper, we have just right off the build alone, if you include Bloodhowl, that's a 34% extra critical strike chance against these enemies. So again, that's a huge part of the build. And then moving on to the last part with the Wrath abilities, we're going to go with Rabies. You could get more points into it, but I'll explain why I do not for the Server Slam. But again, this is our big time ability to spread rabies and just get another poison on an enemy. So again, we have with Claw, with Shred, with Vine Creeper, and Rabies, 4 of our abilities are poison abilities. So yeah, that's kind of the point of the build. And then I get 1 point of Neurotoxin. Slowing is good, but I want to get 2 points in Envenom. Poison enemies take an additional 20% critical strike damage. So again, we know with the Vine Creeper, we have over a 30% extra critical strike chance if we include Bloodhound, and now we're doing 20% more damage. To me, this Druid build has a great ability, and once the game officially launches due to this. You know, the point of the build is to poison enemies, and once they're poisoned, we'll have more critical strike chance. So again, I think this build can go further on, but we only get 2 out of 3 just because we're only going to be able to hit level 20. Conclusion, we want to keep all of our enemies poisoned 100% of the time, and we do that with all of our abilities: Claw, Shred, Rabies, and Vine Creeper. When our enemies are poisoned, we have a 20% increase in critical strike damage on them, which again will boost our damage. We also know through talents and our skill tree, and then also to our Night Howler's aspect, that we will have over a 30% critical strike chance on these enemies, so we build more damage. On top of that, with Stormclaw's aspect, our critical strike chance, when we do critical strike, gives 20% of that damage as lightning damage to that target and the enemy around us. So overall, a good build for damage. Hopefully you enjoy the Server Slam and try